All right, everybody. We have the pregame show going on here, but we're not going to spoil any of the excitement for tonight. Hours from now, former President Trump will address the Republican National Convention in Milwaukee. It'll be the first time that Americans can hear from him personally since he survived an attempt on his life that happened 5 days ago. His son, Donald Trump Jr., and eldest granddaughter, Kai Trump, spoke about that moment last night.
On Saturday, I was shocked when I heard that he has been shot, and I just wanted to know if he was okay. It was heartbreaking that someone would do that to another person. A lot of people have put my grandpa through hell, and he's still standing.
Joining me now on set, Donald Trump Jr. and Kai Trump. It's great to have both of you with us today. Thank you so much. That was a special moment for both of you last night, right?
It was.
Donald, let me ask you first. How proud of you were her last night? What was it like for you as a dad?
I've had a lot of proud moments this week, watching my father come up defiant after being shot, but watching Kai do that was it was one of those, just don't cry, Don. I don't want to ruin my reputation where they think I'm a nice guy, but she did so well. It was interesting. She was with me when we got the call this weekend about my father having been shot, and we didn't know for 90 minutes, and she's very close with, she calls Grandpa because of golf. Kai's a great golfer. She's a competitive golfer, so she's with him every weekend. They talk about golf every day. It's funny, so they have this great relationship. And she called me on Monday and just said, I feel really strongly about this. I want to speak at the convention. I was like, are you sure? Like, it's not an easy first speech venue. And she's like, I'm sure. So I called my dad. I was like, can I give her some of my time? He goes, wow, yeah, but that kid's a winner. She'll do great. And she did. She did.
So, so you guys were together. You talked about it a little bit last night, but it must have been very frightening for you.
Yeah,
to hear what happened.
It was. We were on a boat on Saturday. I was with some of my friends, and Kim called Dad, and the news broke. I was getting all these text messages, but I was getting hearts, and I'm so sorry. Yeah. And I had no clue because I wasn't on my phone. I wasn't even paying attention to that. Right. And then after 10 minutes, and we finally realized what was going on, and it was very heartbreaking because, it was such a sad moment because no one knew what was going on, and we didn't really know until like 90 minutes after.
Yeah, that's a really long 90 minutes.
It's a long time of unknown.
A very long 90
time.
minutes for all of you. What did you think when you first saw that image, Kai, of him standing up and pumping his fist with blood on his face?
I've never seen something like it. I thought it was so amazing and so strong, and you can't fake that in that moment at all. That means he truly cares, and he's fighting for America.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're going to hear from your dad and your grandpa tonight. Obviously, it's always a big moment at these conventions for the nominee to stand up, but particularly so, given the events of this week. What should we expect tonight, Don?
It's interesting. I've been so running around doing the media and worrying about my own speech, and then making sure, for the opening speech for Kai in front of 30,000 people and tens of millions on TV, I hadn't focused on it. On his, I spent 4 hours with him on Friday, the day before he was shot, actually working on the original speech, and that was pretty fire. Yeah. But, a lot's changed in 72 hours. So I haven't seen that, but I've heard from the people that have been working with him on it. It's a very different speech. It's probably very different than what you're going to be used to from Trump. And, while Trump will always be a fighter when he's attacked, I think that's the same resolve that he showed the other day. That's the resolve that has kept us out of wars, Martha. That was the resolve that helped us sign peace deals in the Middle East and stopped our adversaries from invading their neighbors for 4 years. Once that resolve went away and America started exuding weakness, it all fell apart. And so I think there'll always be some of that message, but I think it is a message about unity and putting America first and fighting for the people. You saw a lot of that in J.D. Vance's remarks last night. So I don't have the inside knowledge because I haven't had the time to focus on it, but I think I'm going to see it live with you guys for the first time as well.
Do you think he's changed by Saturday's events?
I think you have to. How do you that kind of event? I'm not an overly spiritual guy, but if that wasn't divine intervention, I don't know what is. It should have never happened to begin with. Don't get me wrong. I'm a pissed off son that it could happen, but we
That's
witnessed
a whole nother story.
Yes, that's a very different story, and that'll play out. I'm not done with that one yet, but right now, just to watch that happen, to turn his head at that moment, it's like, man, something is looking out for him, our family, and honestly, I think given his capabilities, I think they're looking out for America and our future.
It was not his time on Saturday. Kai, you talked a little bit about people, wanting people to understand the man that you see. Is it hard for you at times it must be hard for you at times, obviously, when you hear people talk about him. Tell me a little bit about what that's like for you.
I mean, for me, I spend a lot of time with him. Almost when he's at home, I see him every single weekend at the golf course from 8 till like 2. So I spend a lot of time with him, and like seeing what news puts him and his image and whatever it is, that's not really him. Like, he's just, to me, a normal grandpa. He gives us whatever we want. He's always looking out for us. He's always wanting to know how we're doing. So it's frustrating when you see people putting him as an image that he's not. So it's hard seeing that.
Yeah, and they play that thing that, it's selfish. It's always about Trump. But, she sees that. And it's actually, he's not the typical politician. When he does something that's nice, when he has sort of that empathy, he actually doesn't put it out there and show it. It's almost, I look at it almost as a little bit of a political liability sometimes, because he's not willing to do it. He's like, I got to negotiate against Putin. I don't want him to think I'm soft. But I think Kai's like, she sees that soft side of him. He sees that sort of caring, grandfather side that is very present in him, but he doesn't like to show the rest of the world.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting that you talked about when he was going through, when you think about everything that he has had to battle against. I'm sure, you were probably worried a few months ago, like, is Grandpa going to have to go to jail? Was that a question that you asked when all of that was going on?
It was, and it was scary for the whole family. It really was. And like my little siblings, my mom, it was sad seeing that, because it was all just made up stuff.
But you said sad. In the middle of it, he's still calling you to see how you're doing.
Oh yeah, he was still asking me how my golf game is going.
Pretty good at putting things in a different box.
Yeah,
right?
Like,
now I got to be a grandpa.
Yeah,
it was all about my tournaments and how I'm playing and how I'm doing in school, because he always catches up and checks on me with all that stuff. So
what do you think? Do you have any thoughts about what you want to do in the future besides play amazing golf, which your grandfather has told me that she's scratch golf for you now?
Yeah. Just go pro one day.
Yeah.
That's really like my goal, and I'm working every day towards that.
Awesome dream. Thank you, Kai. Great to meet you, and great to see you on the public stage. We look forward to seeing all the great things in your future.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.